My name is Laura Reines, and I am here today to bring you a little bit more insight on my experiences of being transracially adopted at a very young age and raised in a predominantly Caucasian home and community. To start off with, what I want to say is first, in terms of hair, there were no hair care products for people of color in my community. Kind of goes without saying. I'm sure that there were in the major metropolitan areas, but from where I was raised to get to those areas, it took about 2.5 hours to drive to those areas. So in our local drugstores, there were no hair care products. I didn't know there was such a thing as a chemical relaxer. I really didn't know there was such a thing as a weave, or that some black women wear wigs. So immediately, that was one of the things that kind of separated me from my peers. They could just go to the corner drugstore, pick up some Aquanet hairspray and some Aquanet shampoo, and be good to go. Now, if I were to use those products on my hair, which I did because that's all that was available, I had a lot of breakage of my hair, a lot of dryness, and it just basically wouldn't grow. Because we didn't know what to do with my hair, my parents would, I'd wear it natural, which means without any chemicals or anything like that in it, and then I would just wear it in a very short afro. Well, it may have been cool and comfortable in the summer, but what I can tell you without a doubt is it definitely made me stand out. All of my friends had long hair. They had hair that kind of swished and flowed when they walked. I didn't. And not only did my hair not swish and flow, but it felt completely different than my friends. It looked completely different than my friends. And there wasn't apparently anything that we could do to get it to look more like theirs. Now, why I wanted to look more like my friends? Well, you could say that that was like a sign of weakness on my part, but we have to remember that I was just a little kid. I was probably in early and middle elementary school when all this was going on. And so, as I said, I wore my hair in a very short afro. Well, in addition to separating me, what that did is make me look like a little boy. And I can say that and laugh about it now, but at the time it was pretty difficult to take. You know, this is before puberty and before I had developed, any feminine looks or anything like that. And so I was frequently referred to as the boy, mostly by people who saw me on the street, with my parents, or people who didn't know me, and they'd ask my mom, how old is he? And that really, really did a number on my esteem. It's because, we all want to be seen as we are. And so if God made me a girl, that's how I wanted to be identified. And repeatedly, it was, he, him, his. And so one of the things my mom did is she would start putting little plastic clips and barrettes in my hair, like this, so that I looked more like a little girl. And she dressed me in pink and do all of those things. But the root of this really was that people look at your exterior, even your hair, to make judgments about you. And my hair said, I am different. I am not female. I got made fun of because I had an afro. So there were all kinds of things. Looking back, though, my parents did the absolute best that they could. And like I said, those products just were not available. So let me fast forward that to those of you out there who may be thinking of adopting transracially. And what I would say is take the time to get to know how to care for your child's hair. It doesn't matter whether you're getting a little boy or a little girl. Our hair is different. And we can't be colorblind and say, well, their hair is just like ours. Oh, absolutely not. And if you treat it that way, they will have no hair unless they have extremely strong hair. So I would say take classes, make friends with people of color, find out where they get their hair done, and go to those places. I would say educate yourself on this before you even get a child, because it's a commitment. It really is a commitment. African American women, I can't speak for all, but I can tell you that I can go to the salon once a week to get my hair washed and deep conditioned and then styled, and then that lasts me for the week. Some go more frequently than that, some go less frequently than that. Some African American women get their hair chemically relaxed every 6 weeks. If we're wearing a weave, you might be able to go for 3 months, but it costs over $100 usually to put that in. So this isn't something that you enter into lightly and just say, well, I'll just figure out her hair or his hair as we go. You really have to take the time to educate yourself and to really evaluate, am I able to do this? Do we have the financial resources? Do we have the physical resources like a car, how comfortable am I inviting someone else into my home that I may not know very well to come over and do my daughter's hair or my son's hair? On this topic, how I'd like to close also is spend some time looking at how other African American people wear their hair. There's as much variety with our hair as there is with anyone else's. But pay attention to the children and how they wear their hair, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Who does your hair? Where did she get that done? About how much did that cost, if you don't mind me asking? Those are all things you have to know. Your child will be identified and judged according to their hair and their skin, their external appearance. There is nothing you can do about that. That is just something that's going to happen. But I really feel that if you educate yourself ahead of time, you'll know kind of what to expect and even how to kind of combat that, or what to say to your child when she comes home and says, oh, they say I look like a boy. One final issue that I do have to discuss today before I sign off, and that is parents. Please do not let people touch your child's hair. Please don't do it. Somehow, because our hair is different, people feel that they have the right just to come in, do this, and oh, it feels like sheep's wool. Please do not let people do that. I've had to say to people, please don't touch my hair. For some reason, they think that because it's different, like I said, they can just take liberty and run their fingers through it or feel it, which is usually accompanied by saying something like, oh, it feels just like, I've heard everything about my hair from it feels like a Brillo pad to it feels like lamb's wool to it feels like fleece, it's fuzzy. But don't let people, moms or women, if you've ever been pregnant and people just come up to you and randomly touch your tummy and, will ask you questions about your baby, it's kind of the same for us and our hair. And when I was little, I remember people just touching my hair. Oh, it's kind of oily. And it's moms, dads. At that point, you need to say, please do not touch her hair, or please do not touch his hair. If you have questions, I can ask, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't touch their hair. So in 8 minutes, that's kind of a little bit of my take on hair for African American and even biracial children. Again, in summary, educate yourselves, parents. Find someone that they can emulate. Find someone who can do their hair. Do all of this before you have your child with you. Your child will thank you countless times. I just know it's true. So in my next video, I'll talk a little bit more about beauty and self-esteem and what that was like. But for now, I will bring this to a close. Thank you for watching and for listening, and hopefully you found this informative. And I will be back to speak with you all very soon. Have a great day.